Down at the market, my local farmer tells me how my food is grown and comes to me. Not far from the city, the farmer is my neighbor. The freshest food is grown locally. There's a party in the kitchen, something smells good. I wonder who the chef could be. It's the kids in the kitchen.
Romans, stew, make and bake.
Kids in the kitchen.
Drizzle, sizzle, roast and toast.
Kids in the kitchen.
Slice and dice, mix and fix.
Kids are in the kitchen, cooking something yummy.
Welcome to Kids in the Kitchen. Once again, I'm your host, Tricia Ziemer. We've come to the Kingston Market to catch up with Hardings and talk about their apple and lemon orchard. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
That's all right, that's a pleasure.
Now, how long have you been coming to this market?
We've been coming here for probably about 8 years. 8 years, I think, and we do another market at Fairfield, so all very good markets and produce straight from the grower.
And why do you come direct to a market?
Because you can talk to people about your product, alleviate any myths or fears that they might have, and they're getting their fruit straight from the grower, cutting out the the storage and whatever in the middle, so very good.
Now, also there's this issue nowadays with the fact that people want their fruit absolutely perfect versus fresh and nutritious. How do you feel about that?
Well, you're not always going to get every piece of fruit perfect, so we have a market pack that is just about perfection, and we also have some that might be a little bit under colour or might have a slight blemish. Nothing wrong with the eating quality at all, but very, very good for you. And we always tell people to keep their apples in the fridge. So always good little tips that we can give them along the way, and we have people that come back each market to buy our produce, so it's all good.
So it goes straight off the tree into cold store and then straight to the market?
Well, every piece of fruit that's picked always goes into some sort of fridge, or it might go into cool storage where we'll take so many bins of fruit out and pack them, perhaps once a month we'll pack that variety of fruit out, and we try and get it the shortest possible way to the customer. So from us to the customer, it's better than going into storage into a big supermarket and then going out to all the distributors around the countryside.
That's fantastic. And you've diversified into lemons now?
We've got some lemons as well, so we grow apples, pears and lemons, and they're a good crop to have. They fill a gap in between the end of the apples and before we pick again.
So you diversified quite well?
We've diversified quite well. Being a small to medium family orchard, we've got to have diversity, and we like to have our presence in the market all the time.
And you're passing those skills on to your grandson now as well?
Well, my stepson's a fourth generation orchardist, and if the grandsons come into the business at some stage, they'll be fifth generation. So all good.
Fantastic. I can't wait to come out to your orchard and have a sticky and talk about lemons.
Sounds good. You're very welcome.
This has been your host, Tricia Ziemer. Let's head to the orchards at Tumac Valley.
The Harding family came here in 1979. Came from the Geelong area to find an orchard that had permanent water on it. Started with Granny Smith's, Red Delicious, Jonathan's, Golden Delicious, pears. Lemons were fairly short supply in Victoria. We had a gap in the market from November through to January or February, and we started planting off some lemon trees. So I think first of all we probably planted about 250 lemon trees. Now we've got about 2,500 lemon trees. They don't have to be stored for long. We pick them, virtually sit them for probably a week or so, and then we pack them out and sell them. So they seem to be always a sought after crop. Usually the size that's the most popular is probably about 113 lemons in a box. Oh, it would keep for probably a month or more. Probably our main struggle is if we're hit by hail. In 1998 on Australia Day we lost our entire crop and we didn't have an income for that year. It's like most farming ventures, you have a good year, you've got to keep something back for a year that's like we had in 1998. So we didn't have hail mesh on our orchard, but we started to insure our crop. But mainly it's all covered by mesh and you get a much better quality fruit. Varieties have changed over the years. People used to like Red Delicious, but now we seem to grow varieties that we can pick earlier. We start picking galas in the apple varieties and then we pick right through to Pink Ladies. So we've got galas, Golden Delicious, Granny Smiths, a few Jonathans, which are an early apple, and Fuji's and Pink Ladies. And we don't grow Red Delicious anymore because we grew a stripy apple. People now want a red as red apple.
First thing is they take a root off an existing lemon tree with the variety of root, or root stock as we call it, that you need for the particular area or the variety that's going to be put on top, and you grow the stock up till it gets a shoot big enough to bud the variety of lemon, the fruit itself. Trifoliata is the variety of the stock and the lemon is Lisbon. A tree that would be probably 4 or 5 years old before it gets a crop that will pay its way for the care you've got to give it. We give it a light pruning to help build a framework and to be strong enough that when it does get a proper crop, the limbs don't pull down, they still remain growing up or looking like a vase shape. In the winter time we do very little. But in the springtime, we've got to water it to make sure that they don't get too dry, because lemons need a certain amount of water. They don't like being real dry. We put fertiliser on it and we just keep mowing the grass to stop a competition with the tree. And we spray a strip about 1 metre each side of the tree to keep the weeds down. Very little spraying in lemon trees. The main one is we've got to keep a fungus disease out called sooty mould, where this mould forms black on the skin. Maybe sometimes we might put a spray on that creates a few more flowers. And another one, gore wasp. Yeah, it creates a lump in the wood along there. Anywhere in the wood it lays an egg or something and it goes in and creates a lump on the limb. Cut the limb off. Don't leave it laying around between the time you cut it off and you burn it, because it would escape out of there and go back and lay some more eggs. So cut it off and burn it quickly. What we do, we cultivate the ground to hill up and have a slight slope from the crown down to the centre of the row, which is done with agricultural drains so that it doesn't get too wet in the winter. They don't like wet feet. They're planted, and we then put on a watering system, overhead sprinklers we use here. Well, the main flowering period is in October, but seeing as we want to pick them from November on to February, we've sort of got them out of their correct rotation, and they flower in the autumn and they grow the crop through till harvest time, which is 8 or 9 months. That if they were cared for correctly, they'd probably produce forever, because they're not like an apple tree which tends to get collar rot or some other thing if they're correctly looked after. The way to pick a lemon, fellas, is to pull down and then turn it and pull hard. Turn the lemon and pull down at the same time. Okay, fellas, your turn now. so long. Been good to meet you.